Sagittarius, the return of the masked lover. September 2025. Chosen ones rising. Welcome, Sagittarius. If you've been feeling the wind whisper secrets in the middle of the night, or catching yourself looking at the moon a little too long, this message is for you. Now let me be upfront. September 2025 isn't going to tiptoe into your life wearing soft slippers. No, it's storming in with the subtlety of a flamethrower. Why? Because something you thought was finished, something or someone you boxed up, labeled emotional chaos, and shoved onto the top shelf of your memory is cracking open. And the universe wants you to look. Again. This is not your usual Mercury retrograde drama or another vague X returns cliche. This is deeper. This is karmic. And for many of you Sagittarians, especially those in the collective of the chosen ones, this is a soul contract circling back because it was never really closed. It was left dangling. And now, it demands your attention. Someone from your past, the one who wore emotional masks like Halloween costumes, is waking up. And not in a soft, yogic I'm enlightened now kind of way. No, more like waking up in a panic, drenched in karmic sweat, realizing they lost something real. You. They may have laughed once at your big dreams, or called you too much. But now they see it, your fire, your freedom, your refusal to dim your light. And it burns them. Because they realize they tried to replace a diamond with a paperclip. Spoiler alert, the paperclip bent. Let's be real for a moment. You gave this person your most Sagittarian gift, truth wrapped in kindness, love unguarded, adventure promised without conditions. You gave them the raw, real you. And what did they do? They doubted it. Tested it. Tried to fit your wild spirit into their tiny cage of control and manipulation. And when you didn't fit, they blamed you. Fast forward to now. The world turned. You've grown. Maybe you've even glowed up in a way that makes old friends blink twice and ex-lovers scroll through your feed like they're studying for an exam. And them? They're haunted. Haunted by the way you used to look at them like they were the only person in the room. Haunted by the laugh you shared, that infectious Sagittarian laugh that still echoes in their guilt-ridden mind. They're not sleeping well. You've become a ghost with good lighting in their memories. But here's the twist, they didn't just miss you. They tried to replace you. Yes, with someone new. A rebound situation that was more rebound than relationship. Someone cold, emotionally shallow, or downright manipulative. The karmic slap they needed. Because the universe wasn't going to let them forget your love without a mirror. Now this person is crawling through emotional ruins, clutching a bouquet of regrets, rehearsing apologies in their head like a Broadway monologue. But don't get it twisted, they're not just nostalgic. They're spiritually unraveling. And their karma? Served daily, extra spicy, just the way they dished it out to you. Let me remind you, Sagittarius, this is the year of triumph 2025. And triumph doesn't always mean reconciliation. Sometimes it means standing tall in your healed self while the one who broke you learns to crawl. Sometimes, it's just watching from a distance as they meet their karmic twin, someone who treats them the way they treated you. But let's not get too smug. You're wiser now. This isn't about revenge, it's about revelation. You are the truth they couldn't face. The mirror they smashed. The light they weren't ready for. And yet, now they're coming. Or at least, trying to. With confessions, tears, and a heart half mended. The question is, are they arriving to repair what was broken, or are they simply seeking refuge from the storm they created? Either way, you hold the sword of discernment. This time, you're not handing out second chances like candy. Not when you've tasted your own worth. Because you, Sagittarius, have become your own home. Your fire no longer burns for someone else's warmth. It fuels your purpose, your joy, your journey. You are freedom incarnate. And if they want a place beside you now, it better be earned, not begged for. The return and the crossroads. So here we are, my dear Sagittarius, standing at the edge of a fated intersection. You on one side glowing, unbothered, maybe sipping iced matcha under a sunrise sky. And them? On the other side, staring at you like you're the last bus out of Regret Town. Here's the thing. They've been watching. Oh yes. Whether it's through social media, mutual friends, or just energetically tapping in, you know, the spiritual lurkers, the ones who accidentally astral project into your dreams at 2:47 a.m. However they're doing it, they're watching. And it's not just casual curiosity. It's obsession dressed in longing. They're seeing your transformation. You're not the same person they left behind. You've evolved. Sharpened. You no longer beg for crumbs because you've become the bakery. You're walking like a chosen one because, let's not sugarcoat it, you are one. And if 2025 is the year of triumph, then you are the embodiment of what triumph looks like after heartbreak. Meanwhile, your ex? They're spiritually dehydrated, trying to drink from puddles that look like healing but taste like trauma. They went from rejecting your love to chasing shadows of you in all the wrong places. The rebound? A harsh teacher. Someone manipulative. Someone emotionally closed off. The exact reflection of how they treated you. Now they sit with that lesson. The silence you once begged for answers in? That silence has turned into their lecture hall. Spirit speaks loudest when you're quiet, and now they're listening whether they like it or not. Let's talk about this third-party situation for a second. You already know what's up. Some of you saw the red flags fluttering like a parade and still gave them grace. You thought, maybe they just need time. And you gave them time. You gave them trust. You gave them chances like Oprah gives away cars. But that third party? That just a friend? That was the ego's escape route. A messy entanglement that only served to delay their soul's growth. It wasn't real. It wasn't love. It was a distraction, a rebound designed to numb the truth that they had already met their match, you. And let's not skip over the spiritual bullying and manipulation. That emotional yo-yoing. That hot-cold nonsense. That wasn't passion, it was confusion. They weren't protecting their heart. They were protecting their control. Because, let's be honest, Sag, your freedom terrified them. You are the Zodiac's wild horse. You were never meant to be tied down with conditions. You loved freely, boldly. But they couldn't handle someone who couldn't be owned. So they tried to dim your flame. They tried to keep you small so they could feel big. It worked until it didn't. And now here they are. Single. Sober. Spiritually spanked by karma. The universe handed them a mirror and said, look what you've done. And now they can't unsee it. They can't unfeel it. The weight of their betrayal is finally heavier than the guilt they tried to ignore. There's a kind of poetic justice in the way the universe unfolds, isn't there? But let's shift the focus back to you. You, dear Sagittarius, didn't just survive. You built. While they were ghosting, you were grounding. While they were chasing fantasy, you were facing your truth. You cried. You questioned. And then one day, you stopped trying to understand them and started understanding yourself. You let the pain shape you, but not harden you. You let the lesson deepen you, but not define you. You became emotionally sovereign. And that, more than anything, is what makes you magnetic now. You don't chase. You attract. And what you're attracting now isn't just love, it's respect, peace, abundance, and recognition. You're glowing like someone who finally knows their worth. And trust me, everyone can see it. Even them. They're afraid. Not just of losing you, but of not being able to reach the version of you that's been born out of this fire. Because this new you? You don't need validation. You don't tolerate games. You don't lower your frequency for someone still stuck in survival mode. They want to come back. Oh, they really do. But not because they're ready to match your energy. They want to escape their pain, their loneliness, their karma. And some of you are wondering, do they deserve another chance? Only you can answer that. But here's what I will say this time: if they come back, make sure it's not just an apology in a prettier font. Make sure it's accountability. Make sure they're not just haunted by what they lost but awakened to what they must become. Because Sagittarius, you are the lesson now. You are the flame they couldn't hold. And whether they return or not, your path is sacred. Your journey is divine. And your peace? Non-negotiable. Remember, forgiveness is for you, not for their comfort. You can release someone and still not reopen the door. Closure doesn't always come with a conversation, it often comes with a mirror and a sunrise. And you, of all signs, know how to walk forward with nothing but truth and a passport in hand. So if they return, let them meet the new you. The one who doesn't explain her boundaries. The one who doesn't chase his worth. The one who walks like a chosen one because she remembers divine love starts from within. Sagittarius ascends triumph, temptation and the final test. Sagittarius, you've reached the part of your story where the main character is no longer just healing. She's thriving. He's flourishing. They've entered the phase of divine realignment, where the chaos of the past begins to feel like it was all building up to this moment of clarity. And yet, there's one last test. See, when the universe is preparing you for the next level, it often sends a final boss disguised as an old lover, an old wound, or a familiar comfort. It's not punishment, it's permission. Permission to see just how far you've come. And this person from your past? They are not just showing up for a second chance. They are the test. Now let's be real, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, the planet of wisdom, expansion, and blessings. You were never meant to play small. You were meant to stretch the soul like a horizon, chase truth like fire, and kiss love with your whole spirit. So what happens when someone from the past, someone who once tried to chain your wings, returns with watery eyes and trembling hands? You remember. You remember what it cost you to love them. You remember who you had to become to survive that love. You remember the nights you begged the stars for peace. And you remember that the glow-up wasn't aesthetic, it was spiritual. This divine masculine who once played the field like love was a game? He's now standing in the wreckage of his own ego, looking back at you not as someone he used to know but as someone he can never replace. He's finally realizing, you were not a lesson. You were the blessing he failed to protect. But here's where it gets nuanced. His awakening is real. He's not faking the tears. He's not just lonely. He is broken in places he didn't even know existed. And that pain has finally cracked open something that no karmic relationship could access: his soul. The tower has already struck. His foundation is dust. That third party? Gone. That illusion of control? Shattered. His money? Messy. His nights? Long. His thoughts? Haunted. He's looking at old messages like sacred scriptures, trying to decipher where it all went wrong. And every breadcrumb leads back to you. But, and this is important, Sagittarius, his regret is not your responsibility. Let me repeat that for the chosen ones in the back row, his regret is not your responsibility. Just because someone has finally woken up doesn't mean you owe them your sunrise. You are now aligned with the chariot, moving forward with purpose. The Six of Wands crowns your head: public recognition, victory, and spiritual validation. People are watching you now, not just ex-lovers but new eyes, new opportunities, new love. And they're not here to play. There's energy of abundance in your field, both material and emotional. Some of you are attracting suitors who don't just say they want you, they show it. Some are entering creative phases that will birth books, businesses, and babies, literal or symbolic. You are not where you were. You are not who you were. You are the version of yourself you once prayed to become. And yet, the universe whispers one final time. Can you stand in your power, even when love knocks with old wounds? This is your moment of karmic discernment. You're not being called to take this person back, you're being called to decide from your healed self. Not from loneliness. Not from nostalgia. But from sovereignty. Yes, you can have compassion for their pain. Yes, you can honor the spiritual bond. But you can also say no. You can say, I forgive you, but I release you. You can say, I loved you, but I choose me. Because here's the secret, Sagittarius, the greatest love story was never about getting them back. It was about getting yourself back. And you did. Some of you may choose to rebuild with this person, and that's valid, if their actions match their remorse. If they're not just returning with words but with therapy receipts, accountability, and boundaries that honor your growth. But many of you won't. Not because you're angry, but because you're free. You've met yourself in the silence. You've loved yourself in the dark. And now, you dance with light. Let's laugh for a second, because Sagittarius humor is cosmic medicine. Isn't it funny how the one who once left you on read is now watching your stories like it's a Netflix series? Isn't it wild how the person who said they weren't ready is now rehearsing vows in the mirror like a soap opera villain trying to turn saint? They said, you were too much. And now? You're everything they want. But you? You've become your own answer. You don't need closure when you have clarity. You don't need revenge when you have rebirth. And you don't need them when you have yourself. So let them come back, if they must. Let them spill their heart, if they can. But you, my fiery archer, you aim higher now. Your arrows are tipped with truth, and your path is blessed by Jupiter himself. This is not just a month. This is not just a love story. This is your elevation. Welcome to the top of the mountain, Sagittarius. You've earned the view. And from here, love doesn't look like begging or chasing, it looks like alignment, integrity, and peace. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. You don't need to convince someone to love you right. You are love. You are the standard. And if they want in now, they better bring divine energy or keep it moving. The prophecy of the Archer Sagittarius in the year of triumph 2025. Sagittarius, let's take a breath together. Not just any breath, but the kind that comes after the storm. The kind that signals that not only did you survive, you transformed. Because now, the Archer steps into prophecy. September 2025 is not simply the aftermath of an emotional reckoning. It's the gateway. A portal moment. And for those Sagittarians who've done the work, the spiritual journaling, the crying into pillows, the walking away from lovers who only knew how to take, this is your time. You are walking into the year of triumph, not because the world is handing you a trophy, but because you forged it yourself out of heartbreak, discipline, and holy defiance. Let's talk prophecy. First, love. You're not meant to love like everyone else. Your heart was built for horizons, for truth and wild laughter, for deep soul contracts, and honest, sometimes inconvenient emotions. You love like a wildfire and burn like a sunrise. That kind of energy can't be caged. In 2025, you're attracting someone or many someones who don't just see your light, but who bring a torch of their own. Someone emotionally available. Someone who doesn't shrink under the pressure of your truth. For some of you, this may be reconciliation with someone from the past only if their energy has transformed to meet your vibration. But for most, it's new. Not new as in rebound. Not new as in temporary. New as in divinely aligned. Someone who speaks your soul's language without needing translation. Someone who sees your independence and says, "I love that about you," instead of trying to break it. Someone who doesn't play chess with your heart but brings peace to your inner battlefield. Sagittarius, that love is coming because you became it. Second, purpose. This year, you are unlocking something. Whether it's a new business, a platform, a message, or a movement, Jupiter is handing you the key. You've always been the visionary of the Zodiac. You see the big picture when others are stuck in the pixels. In the past, they called you scattered. But now you are being seen as multidimensional. Your ability to hold contradictions, to be both wild and wise, silly and sacred, philosophical and passionate, that is your gift. And this gift is turning into abundance. You may receive offers, recognition, unexpected financial blessings, and opportunities that align with your soul mission. You're not hustling anymore, you're realigning. You're not chasing, you're re-attracting. You don't need to justify your glow. You don't need to shrink to fit into anyone's timeline. You're walking your own. Now let's get a little cosmic here. There's a reason this cycle was so karmically brutal. You, dear Sagittarius, are part of a collective wave, the chosen ones, souls who incarnated to break generational patterns, to speak truth in rooms where silence was worshipped, to liberate others through your own authenticity. This past relationship, that was part of the fire that awakened you. That heartbreak, that was the ritual. That betrayal, that was the burn that scorched away your fear. And now, like a phoenix wearing hiking boots and a smirk, you're climbing. Your intuition is sharper. Your voice is louder. Your presence is magnetic. And the people who once doubted you? They're watching. Some with admiration. Some with envy. Some with a quiet hope you'll forgive them. But none can deny this truth. You've risen. This final phase of the reading isn't about anyone else. It's not about the twin flame, the ex, the rebound, or the regret. It's about you realizing that you don't need another person to complete your story. You are the main character, the author, and the plot twist. Your life is the love story now. Your growth is the reward. Your freedom is the legacy. So as you stand here in the dawn of this new chapter, know this. You are not defined by who didn't choose you. You are not held back by who couldn't love you properly. You are not responsible for saving people who weren't willing to swim toward you. You are the fire, the truth, the laughter echoing in the mountains of destiny. You are Sagittarius. So take your bow. Aim your arrow. Trust your flight. The universe is not just cheering for you, it's aligning with you. This is your year of triumph 2025. And the prophecy? You don't just get love. You don't just get clarity. You get everything. Because you've earned it. Sagittarius, if this message resonated with your soul, let me know in the comments. Drop a fire if you're ready for this new season. And remember, you're not here by accident. You were guided. If you feel this message is part of your journey, subscribe, share this with a fellow Sagittarius, and let's continue walking this path of truth, light, and unstoppable growth together. Your journey is sacred. Your love is royal. Your voice is needed. Until next time, keep aiming high.